Hello, good day everyone. This is Loris Caruana speaking, and I'm the trainer of today. Welcome to the free Orbit Intelligence Advanced session that we will start in a couple of minutes. Let's wait our joiners to join us, and then we can start the session. I remember that you are all on mute. This session is being recorded, and a follow-up message will be sent in the next few days with a link to this recording, along with some slides that we will see together today. Thank you for waiting one more minute. Right. I see some more participants coming in, so maybe we can start with the agenda of today's session, and you can see the program for the advanced session and the topics that we are going to speak about. I remember for those who haven't participated to the basic free session, that this is propedeutic to understand what we will see today. If you haven't participated, or if you are a new user and you are not very familiar with Orbit Intelligence, then I suggest you to subscribe to the next basic session, and we'll maybe share the link with you. Another advanced session will take place at the end of this month, and as I said, a link to this recording will be sent to all of you, to all who have subscribed with an official email address. So if you have subscribed with a Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail email address, please provide us with an official one, and then we will send you the follow-up message. I will turn now my camera off and just keep the screen, the shared screen. So the first point that we will talk about are the different collections, the different databases of Orbit Intelligence that are free available for you. Then we will go through the keyword search. It's a topic that has already been dealt during the basic one, but it's such an important module that we will go through a search strategy. And speaking of it, I kindly invite you to maybe think of some search queries or search strategies that you would like to propose to all of us, and write in the chat or in the Q&A module available for you. Third topic will be reviewing the results. We will see a classification search, other type of advanced searches, how to combine search queries and use the new command line, how to set up alerts, so monitoring results, how to share results, and then a couple of advanced search functionalities. The last point, the analysis one, has been decided to be part of a dedicated training session. So we trainers last year saw that the analysis is a wide module to talk about, and we prefer to organize dedicated sessions. So we won't see this this module today. If you have any doubts or any queries, please write in the chat. I will maybe do some breaks between one point of the agenda and the other, and we can see together. Otherwise, at the very end of the session, there will be a Q&A time. Right. So the first point is about the different collections. The default database is called FAMPAT and has been developed by Questel mainly for the search of patents and grouping the results into families. So the definition of a patent family is all patents or publication sharing the exact same priority number will be grouped in one family. So we speak about members and families. Along with these publications, any national phase of a PCT application or of a European patent come together. And you will have also probably Japanese applications that share the same priority data. Let's see maybe graphically what a patent family is. Here we have 3 different types of families. Taking into account the same 5 documents as an example, we speak about a strict family where the documents share the same priorities. From these 5 documents, you will have 4 strict families. This, however, can cause some silence generation. So when you run searches, maybe you find fewer results than expected, and therefore you have a silence generation. We talk about FAMPAT family when this condition, so the sharing of priorities, is met, so strict families. But as I just mentioned, you will also have national phase from EP and PCT documents and the Japanese, let's say, brothers. Another type of family is the so-called extended family. On ESPASnet, so for the European Patent Office, they call it INPADOC families. These families are divided, well, you will have different documents sharing some priorities, but not all of them. So you will have only one family extended, but that could have some noise. So for your search project, maybe you will find results that are not relevant for your goals. On this slide, we can see how a FAMPAT family is a best compromise between the strict and the extended families, because it's reducing the silence and the noise in your results. The other 2 types of database that are available in Orbit Intelligence are the full path and the full text. The full text is the database collecting the raw data from the patent offices. It's the first type of data that Orbit imports into the system, but has no translations, for example, is missing advanced data. Full path has the same source as FAMPAT, but groups the results into patents and not families. So maybe it would be, if you're interested in the 3 different databases, you will find a dedicated article in the knowledge base. The knowledge base, I remind you, is available here on the bottom left of your interface with orange widget and a question mark. If you click on it, this widget will pop up. You will have some suggested articles Of course, you can use the search engine. So let's say database. And you will find all the related results. For example, the construction rules of a FAMPAT family. This is the article I was mentioning, and when clicking on the external arrow, a new tab on your browser will open, and you will find all the details of the 3 different databases. And it also not specify, but it also suggesting you which database to use for which purpose. Basically speaking, you would use FAMPAT for wider searches, for prior art searches, patentability, or market analysis. Instead, you would use maybe FullPath for freedom to operate searches, or for all any other kind of searches where you want to focus on a specific country and you don't want to see in your results members from other countries. A typical pattern, search pattern for freedom to operate search would be this one. So the preferred database is the FullPath one, because it's better to focus on individual countries. And maybe you can also search with native language when possible in the keyword section. You would then limit the legal status and set other search criteria. FullPath, indeed, is to be used for specific geographic areas where you are trying to determine freedom to operate searches. But how to switch from a database to another? You will find this option in your user menu. So this icon on the top right has a module called user settings. And in the searching section, you will probably find FAMPAT as your default database. But from here, you can switch to the other 2, FullPath or full text. In the display section, you can customize, for example, if to display the extended families or keep it hidden. Okay, now we will see a keyword search. So I kindly ask you to propose some suggestion in the chat or in the Q&A form here, and we can see this search strategy together. Or if in a couple of minutes there are no suggestions, I will run a sample search strategy. In the meantime, I will share the support article about the database here in the chat. And for those who have been using Orbit Intelligence since years or since a certain period of time, you have probably noticed that the advanced search has changed the interface recently. It was about 3-4 weeks ago. So you will have new functionalities like the scope section on the right, where you will see a preview of what you are going to search. The databases can be selected on the top. So you can see that I'm in FunPath now, but I can switch to full path or to the full text from this selection, from this window. Right. I don't see any suggestion in the Q&A form, so let's see a sample. I will use this one, where you can see the input of operators and truncations that are colored in blue. If you would like to see the list of operators and truncations available in Orbit Intelligence, there's a dedicated article in the widget, building queries using truncation and operators. The operators are the Boolean ones, and, or, and not. Then you will have proximity operators, where you can define by selecting two terms in which position of a text you want to find the results. And you also have truncations, 3 of them, the plus, the question mark, and the pound sign. The plus is used to replace any number of characters before or after a term. The question mark, and I have to precise that the plus has to be used carefully, because at the help desk, we often receive cases where users have used this truncation, but with short terms like car plus, or I don't know, any type of generic words with a plus will overload the search engine. So you will probably have a slowness issue because of this, because of misuse of this truncation. It's better to use the other two truncations, so the question mark or the pound sign, instead of the plus. What changes is that you need to precise how many characters you want to replace by using the truncation. You can use up to 9 question mark or pound signs. The difference between the two is that the question mark replaces 0 or 1 character. In the example given in the support article, it can be for the single and plural form. So in this way, you will search for bicycle or bicycles with an S at the end, but also within a term. In this case, for aluminum, you can maybe find it written with an I between the N and the U. So you put this wildcard in order to find it, but you can have the form without the I. So this syntax will find both variations. Instead, the pound sign, or hashtag if you prefer, replaces one character, but exactly one character. So there has to be a character between the two letters. Here in this example, familiarization could be used for the syntax written with a Z or with an S. And this is often the case between the British English and American English, where you have a different way to write the same term, the same keyword. Going back now to our orbit intelligence case, I put this example where you will find a proximity operator, the W, and the W stands for two terms that have to be in the order specified inside the same sentence. So in my example here, I want solar, the term solar, to be solar and panel or cell to be in this exactly order, not the contrary. And I put a 2 because I would like to have the proximity between the first part, so solar, and the other two terms separated at maximum by 2 other words. Then I used bracket in order to nest the syntax. So I would like to find either panel or cell. I then put also a question mark because I would like to find the both variations, the singular and the plural form. Here on the right, you can see the new functionality of the scope. Then a new functionality added is the suggestions. So let's add a box, and when I write a term without truncations, let's say maybe 5 or maybe plate. If you click on the plus, you get some suggestions, but you can then decide to pick or to add them all. To add boxes to your search terms module, you simply click on add. To define the text fields where you want to run the search on, you need to click on this wheel icon. These are the text fields that are available in the advanced search. So title, abstract, claims, description, and so on. Another news is the connection between the two boxes. Before, the two boxes were connected only by AND, by the Boolean operator AND. Now we have possibility to switch by simply clicking on it into OR. And maybe let's refine my search so I keep only independent claims and claims for plate. And then I search from here. As you can see, this search gives a high amount of results, more than 1,000. So maybe I need to refine my search more. I can go back to my advanced search. And put maybe another term. So I want to find this keyword search pattern, let's say, but where also these two terms are found in the claims or independent claims. Let's run this search again. And I narrow down to almost 30,000 results, so 30,000 families. You can already see that the terms that I searched are highlighted in colors. This is the highlighting function that can be deactivated on the top. So this pencil icon here, if you click on it, you will still find the terms, but in bold, not colored anymore. You can define the colors you wish before running the search. So I go to the search history and I modify it. I can change the color and say here I would like it to be blue, and this I can keep it. I run the search again. And of course, this highlighting is reflected on any part of a text of a patent or a patent family found in the system. You have dedicated tabs for text fields on the right. And maybe I enlarge the view by dragging with my mouse. Clicking on the plus, you will find the available tabs like claims, description, and key content. In the key content, you have object of invention, advantages, previous drawbacks, and independent claims. Let's find an example with more text so that I can show you. Okay. In any case, every time the highlighting is activated, you will find an additional column on the right that helps you find the word. So if with your mouse you click on the text section, the system shows you directly where the terms were found. Maybe I would add another term. I'm seeing these results, and put also photovoltaic to have a third color on my results. And I stick with claims and independent claims. So here is maybe a more clearer example where from the column on the right, you see that module, that is one of the terms that I tried to find, is available, but maybe at the very end of the claims. This highlighting function can be customized, meaning that you can add terms in color by clicking on the small arrow beside the pencil icon. So maybe we can add electrode and give another color. You can see how the proximity operator to W has been replaced, because in this window, in the highlighting wizard, proximity, not all proximity operators are accepted by the system and recognized. And or is replaced by a comma. I apply this new highlighting pattern, and I can see straight away the new change. If this pattern suits you and is something that is appealing for your search goals, you use it very often, we recommend to save this pattern as a profile. How to do it? You simply give a name to this new profile. So maybe put clicking on OK. I have saved it on my account. So whenever I run a search, I can retrieve this profile and apply to these results. On this account, I probably have other profiles saved. This was for another search goal, another search project, sorry, another training. And I can see how less matches are found. Right. When you run keyword searches, an interesting function and an interesting tab that you can add on your view is the so-called quick tab. You can find it always by clicking on the top, on the plus. And the quick stands for keyword in context. So for example, here I have a summary by search fields. So all these terms that I put in the advanced search forms have been found, and the system is showing me where. So less in the titles, a bit more in the abstract, but more in the key content and claims. So there's a blue scale, a blue color scale. The darker it is, the most frequent the term has been found. And below, you have a summary by hit keywords. So you have simply the part of the text where it was found. So you can see in the title, in the abstract, and in brackets, you can see the members of his family. I'm now going to the preview tab because I try to find an example like this one, where you can compare texts. So you have this icon here close to the publication date. This is a comparing function where you can select from the list of members of his family the two that you would like to compare. So let's say the Japanese application and maybe the US application. Clicking on compare, you can see the comparison between the claims and the description. You can always have a look on the bar here to load the translation. You can, of course, switch from one member to another. So maybe you want to compare the Australian one or European one with the US. By switching between tabs, it will load again. To better see the tabs that you have on your right pane of your account, there are some small, very small squares that can be clicked, like for the claims, and a new window will pop up, and you can review in a with a higher zoom. Closing this window automatically re-adds the tab to your view. So, and this tabs addition is one of a customization available in the system. The second one is the preview tab. So in this standard preview tab, you will find the title of a patent or patent family, the main drawing, and the list of publications that are part of this family. So the members, the different members. You have the priority numbers and dates because it's very important for this FAMPAT family construction rule. An abstract of a representative member of this family. And then you have inventor applicant data and classification data. But you can add some more fields by clicking on Edit Preview. This type of window is available also elsewhere. Every time you can customize something, you have a left section where you will find available fields, and on the right, the fields that you choose to display. From the available fields here, maybe I'm interested in assignee searches. So maybe I can add patent assignee history to my view, and by dragging with the mouse, I can decide whether to display. So I would like patent assignee history to be displayed just after applicant assignee. Maybe for sharing purposes, I would like an ID for this family to be displayed. So in order to communicate to my colleague or to my manager, I can add also these fields the same way by playing with the arrows in the middle. Application numbers and dates, and I maybe would like to have it displayed just after the priority information. So you can see how the change is live. I have now a history of a patent assignee, I have a family number, and I have the application numbers and dates added. A third customization available from a hit list or result list are the filters on the left. So this is the standard view where you have legal status filters, first application year, assignee litigation, and oppositions. But you have more filters available by clicking on the options button. And maybe I would add publication country, first publication year, and class information. Again, by dragging and dropping with the mouse, I can decide where to display. And now I have the new filters added as I wanted. Okay, let's go back now to my advanced search module. And maybe I have to put again an example. Let's take the last one. So I'm going to the search history, so to see the query that I used, and by modifying it, I will get back automatically to the advanced search. By clicking on the three dots, you can delete the part of a keyword module, search module that you want to remove. Otherwise, if you would like to clear the form, so even when adding other search criteria, the clear form is now here on the top. In the previous version, it was beside the search button. Now you can find it on the top. Right. I don't see any questions so far, so maybe we can go to the next point of the agenda, that is about the classification searches. Classifications can be classification fields are available in the advanced search form, just right after the keyword section. The classes available are the IPC, CPC. You can search for both. Technology domain will show you right after what it is. And other in more criteria, you will find Japanese classes and US classes. Technology domain, if I select it and click on the three dots icon, is a grouping of technology domains developed by Questel based on the IPC codes. So we are now running research on solar panel and photovoltaic. So maybe I would like to narrow my search results even more. So you can see that there's already the AND operator. And as a technology domain, I would maybe pick environmental technology. Electrical machinery, apparatus, energy. Okay, I would probably pick this too. Confirm. They are automatically added in my search form and in the scope. And I can run the search. You can see you have the possibility to change the operator between the two values. So instead of the or, I can remove and put an and. So now I see less results. From this data set, how to detect the classes, the most frequent classes. So the classes are shown in the preview tab, at the very bottom. Well, this is a very large family. Let's try this one, where you have by default already this information. By hovering your mouse on a specific class or subclass, we'll find a brief description of the same. If it's a main code, main class, it will be indicated with an asterisk and also in the description. You have dedicated filters. that we added for the CPC and the IPC classifications. You can, of course, click on more to see more subclasses. And maybe, let's say, I would filter on a specific class. I can, of course, remove the filter by unticking it and going back to my previous data set. Another function another possibility, is to select the totality of my results, and this bar becomes activated. I suggest always to check that all icons are activated on your account. So by right-clicking on the tab where it's empty, you can see the icons that are that can be added. Make sure that all of them are there. And in this case, I'm checking if the top icon, that is this one, has been added. By clicking on the small arrow, I see the top function on different values, top assignees, different classes, and concepts. Let's see top CPC classes. You have a percentage on your data set of which classes are used more. And it's a top 50. So if I click on one of those, I will be redirected to the patent register. In this case, European, because it's a CPC. Otherwise, it would have been WIPO. Now, probably some of you have already used this function before, and there's let's say a slight difference that will be corrected soon, is the refining the results with this top function. So what will be soon be available again is to select the classes that you would like to refine your search on. So let's say this three. Refine previous search, OK. You will be then redirected to the advanced search with these three values in it. Now I take this one as example. And I go back to my advanced search. And instead or maybe in addition to, I would now maybe select a precise class. You can see how if I select CPC and then the three dots, I have browse EPO. If I would have selected IPC, browse WIPO, and in both cases, you have a wizard, CPC wizard. So I put my class here, and the system is trying to find the most frequent, the frequency of families in the whole database. So we are not talking about the search results that we saw before, but this is an analysis on the full database FAM path. So here I can maybe then select only the most frequent one and add to my search or replace. So instead of this one, okay. So this is roughly where you can find classification. So I repeat, it's in filters, in the top function, and in the preview tab at the bottom of the interface. Next topic is other advanced searches. Before starting with that, maybe if there are any questions, please write them. So I have a couple of minutes to reply to you. Okay. I hope it was clear so far. So another type of advanced search is the search by dates. Scrolling down this form, this new form, you will find other search criteria. And here, the Boolean operator is and you cannot change it. So this is the difference where you have the possibility to switch from and to or. So it's in blue. If it's gray, you cannot change the Boolean operator between the boxes, so between other search criteria. There's a section about the assignee, about the countries, the dates, legal status, but you can add other fields to this form. By clicking on Manage Fields, you can add the inventors section, the number section, the new unified patent code section, and maybe litigation oppositions. Then there are other small fields that before were available in one section called More Search Fields. Just a quick information about the number. Some of you were used maybe to import numbers from the advanced search form. Now this function is available only in the number search here. Here you can search, of course, in a standard way. So selecting which type of number you would like to search, application, priority, publication, etc., etc. And what the import function that was available in the 3 dots is not no more available here. Okay, so now speaking about the dates, maybe I go back and find another search query that was a bit broader, with broader results, because the last one was very narrowed. And maybe let's take this one. So I'll modify again. In the date section, you have 4 criteria of time. So before a date, since, between, time frame, or precisely on. Then as a type, you have first publication date, application, and priority date or grant date. And we talk about first because in a family, of course, you have different dates. In other criteria, more criteria, you can search for all publication dates, publication priority or application dates. Okay, let's say instead of publication priority or application. Application since, and maybe I'm interested for my search project only to see the most recent application. So let's say since 2020. You see when I clicked on the box, a calendar widget popped up. Today is the 12th, so let's put since the 12th of May, but 2020. And I then can run the search. On the top here, when you hover your mouse, you can find the syntax of my search strategy used so far. And you can see at the very end, the field for earliest application date is EAPD, since bigger or equal than 2020 May 12th. Now, let's see another type of search, and maybe I choose one with less results, like the 4 last one. So I click on show results again. I then now, for my review, have a look on the relevance score. So this column is added to your result list. Going through the results page. So I'm going to the next page. You can see how this value, this percentage goes down. This is a relevance score provided by the system, telling you, according to my algorithm, this result is more or less interesting based on the search strategy used. If I go to the very last page of my results, I can see the percentage is much lower than the first result. So I think maybe that for my project, the first 8 results that I can pick one by one, or I can do a selection by clicking on a small arrow and put a range, so from 1 to 8, are interesting. But I would like to see if in the database there's something similar. To do so, you have a dedicated icon after you select at least one result. It is the similarity search, more like this. So based on the selection, I would like to search similar patents. And an analysis is done by the system using this algorithm, combining concepts, classes, and the semantic behind the results. Now the number is too large. You can see more than 1 million results. But this can be limited, can be narrowed down. How? By going to your user settings menu and in the searching section, limitation of results number for similarity, you can put a maximum. Let's say 500 results. I go back to my search query. And again, I select the first 8 range, okay, and search for similar patents. Another type of analysis that can be done from a data set. So I take again this search query. Is the citation search. So you can find citations on a dedicated tab. It can always be added from the plus. In this citation tab, you will find a summary on cited and citing patent families. You can have a list of these families that are cited, in this case, cited by, if known, if it's disclosed, the first application date, the applicant, the category, if applicable, and the title of his family. Scrolling down, I have the same for the citing patent families. And at the very end, the cited literature. Clicking on the publication, so for example, with citing patent, you will be redirected to this interface. It's taken from another software called Orbit Express, which is a simplified version of Orbit Intelligence that is using the same database, so it's always FAMPAT. And you can review this family from here. So you have still some bibliographic and class information, but this is only to, let's say, a view only. So you cannot, for example, export from this interface, but it allows you to compare. So you can, without running a search on this European patent, you can compare European citing result with your family in question. So the first result, for example. By clicking on the number, you can go to a section. And maybe I take another example with less, okay, like this one, where you have 7 cited families and 2 citing families. And there's a nice graph that is available here. Takes sometimes some seconds to load. Maybe put it in full screen so that we can see it better. This is the result I run this citation graph from. In blue, and you can see it from the legend, are the cited families. In green, the citing, and in red, the results I'm focusing on. You have a quick summary on how many families are cited and citing. If I hover my mouse on one of his, on a part of this graph, I will have a basic bibliographic information like the title, the assignee, first application date, and so on. You can zoom out and zoom in by choosing here, by clicking on here. You can export as an image from here. And when you close this window, you will be redirected to the result list before. So this is the first part where citations can be found. Another possibility is to make a selection and run an analysis. So similar to what I did with the similarity search, we can do it also for the citation search. Okay, let's see what happens if I select all of them. And the dedicated tab is the citation one. Then you can focus only on cited, only on citing, or both. Or you also have an advanced cited section. Let's focus only on cited, for example. And you can see how automatically the system, since you are running a citation search, it shows you only 3 tabs now: the preview, the image, and the citation. Here again, you have this relevance score based on another algorithm done by the system to suggest you how relevant, how pertinent is the results based on your search strategy. I go back to my previous results before running the citation search, and you can see from the search history how the query is indicated. So cited and similarity. This one was the one I was focusing on. And I do again the selection. This time I can opt for an advanced citation search. Here, for example, you can remove the self citations non-self-citation. You can focus only on citations done by the examiner, by the applicant, or by a third party. And if you're doing novelty searches, this could be an interesting option for you, novelty or obvious rejection codes. And then run this search. If you want to find more about the categories of the citations, there's a dedicated article in the knowledge base. So citation. So the graph that we saw. There is some definition, but citation searching, the related article, is the one that gives you a brief explanation on the categories set by the USPTO or the EPO. Okay. Now, so far we have always used the advanced search form with different criteria. Let's go to my search history and maybe I take this one that has many search fields. I modify it so that the fields are entered. And I can go now to the command line. In the previous version, the command line was, there was a button on the bottom and then a section, a box opened. Now with a new interface, you find the command line just right to the advanced search form. And based on what was entered here, the command line is already giving you the syntax. Different colors are giving you, are helping you working with us with the database syntax. So we saw that operators and truncations are in blue. In green, now we find the search fields. In red are values entered by a wizard. In this case, there was the technology domains. And the yellow highlighting is showing you when using brackets where the query starts from and where it ends. So if you put too many brackets or less, this helps you understanding where the query and subnesting the query is going. So I added a bracket here. Now I see that it's split from here to here. The definition of the search fields are always available in the fact sheet, and the fact sheets can be found in always in the knowledge base. Sorry, it's found path and full path fact sheets available fields. And there are two PDF documents that you can download with the full list of search fields and examples and description. But now what's new is that you have a library. This library can be hidden if it's making you too much noise, where you can search the terms. From the syntax here, I see, for example, OBJ. If I'm not sure what does it stand for, I search for it, and selecting it, it gives me gives me some hints or maybe some examples. This library can be expanded if you're focusing on it. Let's try maybe another search field. You have in all listed here based on the chapters from the fact sheets. So for example, you can find a field dedicated to the historical CPC codes. And I can then edit based on this information my syntax here. Instead of CPC, I put a H to turn it into historical CPC codes. Or I want only to focus on main CPC codes, I would use this one. TST instead was about the technology domains. And here you have a list that you can insert by simply clicking on it. So if I put there and I don't know, measurements inserted, and you will just need to put an operator. Then you can run the search. The syntax that we just saw in the command line is the same that you can find in the search history with fields. You can use this syntax in the box below, where you can also combine. So to combine search steps. For example, I saw that I'm interested in these results. So it's the search step number 8 from this connection section. So since I'm logged in this Orbit Intelligence account, I ran these queries. So I would put 8, and I can combine with Boolean operators, maybe and to find matches. With this one that we didn't see together, it's a completely different scenario, but maybe I'm interested in finding matches. So 8 and 1 for the search step. I click enter on my keyboard, or I can search here, and I can see if there are any matches without going to the result list. So I can work here, and maybe I can change the operator so to find both results, and then I can then load them. And here is the benefits of maybe using the profiles. Of the highlighting, so that I can see if there are any matches. Well, let's talk about modules, of course, but maybe let's see if there are any other matches. Cells here in the 5th example, I see that the keyword cells was found, while module, and so on. From the search history, so you can combine the search steps with the numbers of the steps, or you can simply say, okay, I take search step number 8 as a reference, and you can put a syntax, so not, and I don't know, maybe put filter / I don't want filter to be in the title, in the abstract, nor in the claims. And I can see the difference. So from 4,900 results, giving this limitation, I have less results than I can work from. After maybe running several queries, we would be interested in saving a script. So you can create a script from here by clicking on the button and copy paste the syntax. From here, from the search history, you can of course export in different formats. You can save the search query that you are interested in. So this one, command save, give a name. Sorry, I'm in the wrong box. This search query is now saved in my saved searches. Solar project with CPC, and you can execute or modify, or you can delete from your account. In the search history, you can of course delete the queries. I have to say, be aware that these data will stay until you are connected. That means tomorrow morning, if I again connect to my Orbit Intelligence account, all these queries won't be there, because this module is cleaned every 8 hours after disconnection. So if I want to find previous search queries, I have to go to previous history. And then let's say maybe I'm sure that I ran a query in the past. Like, go and try to find something. Radiation monitoring. Okay, so I would like to run something that. So I run this past search query so that I have now again in the search history is now active, and I can combine to see, for example, matches. So the new search step 22. Okay, there are not. Are there any queries so far? Otherwise, we will pass to the next function, that is the monitoring. I quickly check. Okay, how to build up an alert? So how to monitor results? Let's say always this one, this search query with 400 results. I want to monitor if there are any changes. To do so, I simply have to go to my search history and click alert. Give a name and a title to this alert. and these two fields are mandatory. Then something that is not really clear, and many users asked the support about clarifications, is run alert every week or month. This is to set the notifications. So do I want to receive notifications every week or every month? It's just about the delivery of a notification, not about the monitoring. Why? Because by default, you have this option, retrieve records once they have an abstract. But if I untick this option, I have now the possibility to enter an update code. The list of update codes can be found in our knowledge base, and there's a dedicated article with all update codes that can be used. So the default option that we just removed, retrieve records once they have an abstract, it's in fact the index UMTA for weekly monitoring. For monthly monitoring is UMT4. But I don't want to monitor this. I want to monitor other things. So to be informed on monthly basis, entry of new records plus changes to records already in the database. What is monitoring within the changes? The English title, machine English abstract, PA is the patent assignee, CPC the code, other codes. So I would like to use this monitoring code. QM. This is the script. I have a possibility to decide which database to monitor, FunPath, FullPath, or full text. I have 3 different delivery formats. RSS for those who use softwares able to decode this type of delivery format. You can choose email messages with an attachment, and by clicking on modify, you will see the different formats of attachments available: PDF, Excel, CSV, TXT, that you can customize. So here again is another topic that is sometimes misunderstood. What you decide here, so which selected fields you put here, is just what you will see in the attachment. It's not what is going to be monitored. What is going to be monitored is based on which update code you use. So I used now QM, but if instead I would have used UE4, it was just for equivalence or publication stages. So I just wanted to make you sure that you don't misunderstand the two things. You have profiles, like for exports from search results. You have also alert profiles. So that when you create a new alert, you will find the same fields, and it's going to be quicker to set. Okay, let's say I'm fine with this selection. And then at the very bottom, you will find a delivery part where by default is taken the email address associated to my account, but I can add up to 23 emails separated by a semicolon. So if I want the email, the alert notification with attachment to be sent to one of my colleagues, well, in this case it's me, but to another colleague, but not necessarily has to has to have an Orbit account. This colleague, John Doe, will receive the monthly notifications for this alert with an attachment and the results. New alert on my account. Clicking Save and Execute will show me the results as for today. Be aware that the databases of in-orbit intelligence, so both FunPath and FullPath, are updated on weekly basis on Sundays. The first time you will receive a notification is after this update is run. Meaning, if I create an alert on Thursday, I don't have to wait till the next Thursday to have the first message, but I have to wait till the next database update. If it's weekly, a weekly delivery, so I specify every week, it will be sent after the Sunday. So FunPath alerts are usually received on Monday evening or Tuesday morning. FullPath alerts on Sunday night, Monday morning. Okay, let's save. So I have now this new alert added to my account, my alerts. I can modify at any time. So if I see that the results are not appealing for me, or maybe I need to use another update code, or maybe I receive too many notifications, so I will set month instead of week, and so on. This can be done at any time in your account in my alert section and edit. If you don't need to monitor something, data sets, you can simply delete. The amount of alerts you can create is based on the contract your company subscribed with Questel. So there is a limit, and you can ask your key account manager at Questel or the Orbit administrator at your company how much the limit is. There's a dedicated update code that is LGUP. This is for legal status monitoring, but be aware that using this code will monitor the whole family if it's in FunPath. So let's say I'm more interested in US patents, and I'm waiting an application to be granted, but in the same family there's a Chinese member or an Australian one, and one of the two is granted, I will receive a notification because the whole family is granted. Basically, this code, LGUP, it's only on weekly basis, so it's not monthly. It's monitoring any changes occurring to this section, so to the legal status tab. So let's take something that is still alive. So any changes, any event occurring in this family, whatever the national extension or the member is, you will be notified. So it can create some noise. To focus on only specific members, well, of course, first of all, you can use FullPath as a database, but still it will monitor any legal event available in the legal status here. Maybe I can show you something and take, okay, switching from FunPath to FullPath, just to show you the difference. You can do it by, from a result list, click on family grouping. This patent families is the FunPath database. By patents is FullPath. And extended patent families is the IMPADOC families for the European Patent Office. Let's group the results by patents. So I'm now in the full path database. So I have, of course, now only one member, not a family anymore. So any legal event of this publication will be monitored by LGUP. Any legal status event. There are if you are interested in this type of alerts, you can write to help@questel.com, and so the help desk, and we will provide you information about a specific alert that is an optional module that can be added to your account. Still speaking of alerts, so I'll go to my alerts, and maybe I modify it. Instead of receiving an email with the Excel file and the fields, I can save the results directly in a work file. The work files are available in the dedicated module or in the Explorer. So this is the my portfolio on my account, where I saved some work files that are indicated with the icon or lists. So I can decide to feed a work file with the results of this alert. By default, the name of a work file is the same as the name of the alert, just not to confuse the results. If I click on Browse, I can define in which folder to put in. So I could create maybe a dedicated folder just for the alerts. Well, I pick this one just. So a new work file called Solar Panel with CPC will be added into my folder NBD Nanotech. This new work file will be displayed once the alert results are in. So that's why today, even if I created this virtual work file, I don't see it under my folder because the alerts results are not in yet. So I have to wait till Tuesday or whenever to show to see this work file. A setting about the alerts is available under the user settings. In the general section, you can specify to not receive an email in the absence of a hit. So if your alert, your legal status alert, or your the other code I used before, the QM for new updates, for new families, for new publications, does not have a result that week, you don't receive an email. Then there are some other customization, links to original document in export and alert. This can be removed. The preferred format, instead of an attachment in your email, maybe have just a link, and then you can download from this link. You can customize a bit the delivery of these alerts. And the advantage to have the results of an alert in a work file. So let's imagine now this one is the my alert work file. Is that you can share this work file among your colleagues with an Orbit intelligence account, part of the same group of users. So from this view, I can see already that some folders are shared with someone because the icon is a bit different. If I want to share this one, I right-click share with, and then put either a group of users where I'm saved or a specific address. And me as an owner of this work file, I can decide this colleague to have a different right on it. So I want my colleague only to read the results. I want my colleague to give the possibility to add results into the work file. Write means add comments or add any user fields or star ranking or attachments. Read, write, and share is the top right that allows the colleague to share as well to somebody else. Now you can see that the icon already changed. So this colleague will see this work file. I'm currently in a nano work file. We'll see the star ranking, for example, that I gave to this family. We'll see, I don't know, if I select a result and put it as mark as read, he will see that this is already been read by me, so he won't review this result again, and so on. So this is about the results sharing topic that was widely dealt during the basic session. What you can share, quickly speaking, is a ranking. So you can see a star icon. You can evaluate this family, and then you can filter based on the ranking you gave. In the filters, you can set a ranking between a value and another value and see only that those results. You can add attachments from your device, insert file from your PC, laptop, whatever. You can upload a document that applies to this specific family, or if it's a document applying that is concerning the whole work file, you have a dedicated tab here. User fields are basically tags that you can add to your account. Maybe you can find a dedicated article in the knowledge base. I quickly check in my other account. A user field, but maybe it's more appealing to you. So I create different user fields from here. You can have multiples. Let's say there's this user field I created with different values, person in charge. So let's say I'm the IP manager. I want my readers, my colleagues, needs to report me something, and I would like this family to be reviewed, or who is in charge for the review between these 4 persons. You can have date, so you can set a deadline, for example, for your project, and saying, maybe 31st of July. Reviewed, yes or no, in progress, office to review, whatever. And so any user that has access to this work file after being shared will see all these tags, let's say user fields. Another metadata is the notes that are kind of comments in text form that you can attach, you can upload, to a family or to a specific publication within the family. So if it only applies to this US grant title, you can give a title and then write the comment here. Your colleague will see this comment. You can also share, speaking of sharing, from a search result. So I'm going back from the work file module to my search module. Search results. Okay, I need to rerun because I switched the database. So you can see the difference. You can switch easily if you run searches in full pattern. You can go back to your fun path and run again searches from here. Okay. You can also share results. So let's say I would like to share the current page via email by clicking on this icon. The default email address is this one, and it's also, by coincidence, the email address of the French help desk at Questel. Then you can add recipients to your message. So by default is my account here. I can add colleagues, give a subject to the email address, and comment to include. The recipients will receive an email with a link, and basically is you opening the link will redirect to this interface from Orbit Express with a list of results. So you can even share these results to persons that don't have necessarily an Orbit Intelligence account. Of course, then from the interface, this Express interface, you won't be able to do export, run other searches, save results, nothing. Okay, what else? I'm sorry, I see that the time is already gone. We're on 1.5 hours. Maybe just two, three more things. I try to be quickly. A suggestion that we can give when running similarity searches, citation searches, you can see from the search history that it's not a full query, but is indicated like with a different syntax. And since it's elaborated by an algorithm, so it's live, the same algorithm in 2 months' time will find other results. So it cannot be run from the previous history, practically. This similarity search was very interesting based on this data set. But if I want to run the same similarity search with these 500 results in, let's say in 2 weeks, I won't be able to, because even in the previous history, all the searches that have this type of algorithm behind will give no results. So let me check. So even if you're tried, for example, this is a citation search to run, the system will not find results, or maybe non-relevant results, because it was an algorithm made live. So what we suggest is during your session to save these results. For example, a similarity search, save, and put citation search, blah, 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 blah. What you can also do is to run again with similarity during the session, select the records, the results you want to keep, and add to a directory that you already have saved in your account. So to add so for the storage of results, the dedicated icon is the suitcase one. You have a view on your portfolio. You select the directory, and then you can decide to create a list or a work file. When then you decide to put where to put, and then feed this new list or work file with the results. Here, for example, I created a prior art project directory, and then I classified different lists. So priority art citation on similarity, priority art semantic search, priority art similarity, whatever. So that you will always find, and you can rerun the search whenever you want, based on what was saved beforehand. So if I click PA prior art semantic, I will quickly retrieve the results, but updated to today. We saw the family grouping. You can also group the results by extended patent families. In the extended database, let's say, you don't have filters for. When entering one specific result, on the bottom left of your interface, you have an extended family table and extended family graph. So let me maybe select a family with more members. Let's try this one. Okay. Where you can understand the link between the different publications. It's the extended family graph. Hovering in the mouse gives you, shows you bibliographic information. And you can see the link, the relationship between this Canadian publication with the US one. So you have this graph format, or you can also have a table format, where you have a comparison between priority dates, numbers, etc., etc. Going back to my list and to my FAMPAT view. Again, check if result with many members. And this is the very last topic. Rerun a search from today's session. Yeah, this could be a good example. Yeah, this can be a good example. Why? Because from the hit list, you can see publication number, the EP. But when I look into the family members, it's not the EP, let's say the European patent publication is not the one giving the priority to the other members. But why is it displayed like this? And this can be changed, of course, on your account. Is based on the user settings. So again, I go to the user menu on the top right, user settings. This time I go to display, and this is the current setting in place on my account, where I can give preference to a patent authority over another. Here, for example, I have European publication coming, give priority to European publication before US, before WO, and so on. If I would have put US before EP, US, the US publication number would have been displayed in my result list. Here you can also customize and decide whether to the preferred publication stage, whether it's the application or the grant, if available, the publication list descending or ascending, and the preferred language. So if it's not available in English or in the English machine translation, the other language comes after. So and you can set, I think, maximum 3 languages. So instead of French, I would give German. You can decide to hide the filter menu, the relevance score. You can decide to deactivate it, well, to not be displayed. The results per page, you can decide how many results you would like to be displayed. Pay attention because the more results are displayed on one page, the slower is the system is overloading. So if you put 200 and you have a highlighting in place, this is burdening the loading of a page. We suggest to keep it up to 50 to have a smoother performance by the system, from the system. Okay. So I leave the last couple of minutes for the questions, if you have any, and I will try to reply to you. I also remind you that this session has been recorded. You will receive a follow-up message if you subscribed with an authorized email domain, so not Gmail, Yahoo, whatever. I will include some slides that we saw at the beginning about the database, for example, and useful links. In case there are too many questions, and I see it's already 5 p.m. here in Europe, I will try to find with a Q&A form. But if you have the time, please write the questions now in the chat or in the Q&A section. Thank you. I see two questions in the Q&A. Is it possible to select a different time span for the alert, for example, 2 months? No, the only possibilities for a standard alert is monthly or weekly. But there's an enhancement request raised by our clients, by our Orbit users, asking to have more, let's say, frequency of the delivery of alerts. The legal status alerts, this optional module I'm mentioning, has more delivery frequency, like bi-monthly, bi-weekly, and I think also 6 months, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, you can write to help@questel.com, and I will be glad to reply to you with more details about this optional alert module, if interested. Second question is, if I search a keyword in the claims field, does this include both independent and dependent claims? So in the advanced search form, I need to close the command line. There are two text fields, claims and independent claims. So if you remove independent claims, the search will run only on claims, on dependent claims. And the same if you opt for the contrary. So make sure before running the search to see which fields are selected on the bottom. And the same, if you would like to run the search in the command line instead of an advanced search form, using the library, you will find the different indexes available for you. So for example, if you're searching claims only in German language, you can use a specific index. Okay, I don't see any other questions in the Q&A. So I really thank you for attending today. I hope you discovered some new features of Orbit Intelligence. I hope to see you again for another training session, and I wish you all a nice weekend. Goodbye.